Yes. Okay. Let's do it. So we continue with the knees. And I remember also that we didn't finish our nervous system,
Right.
but we will do it as we go into the stress and breath. We will go over the nervous system a little bit again, and we conclude with what we had to conclude. So now it's page 87. So, knee joint, healthy knees. Let's see what's going on. So, the knee joint is, where is your knees? Where are your knees? The knee joint is the strongest, largest joint in the human body. However, due to its structure, function, and position, the knee joint is a very vulnerable joint. How do you know that I'm right? Because you've heard so many people have knee injury, knee issues, knee pain, right? It's like everybody is struggling, not everybody, but many people are struggling with knee issues. The knee joint is composed out of 3 bones: the femur, the tibia, and the patella. So the femur, right, the thigh bone, the femur, the tibia is the big one. You can see in the skeleton also, it's the big one in the center. And the patella is, and I have a very weird one. You cannot see it very well because I'm in black. I have a very small one. But you all have it. So you can bend your knee a little bit and it's coming out.
Is it because you are very flexible, or is
I don't know, it's just very small. I didn't think it was weird, but Guy keeps telling me it's weird. It's like so small. Okay. So the tibia, we know what it is. It's this big triangular bone. We will talk about it a bit more. And then the patella it's called a sesamoid bone. Sesamoid, what does this word remind you of? Sesamoid?
sesame?
Sesame. So this bone is a sesame bone, and it's living, growing inside of a tendon. We have a few of these, like in our feet, but this is our largest sesamoid bone, and it's growing in the tendon of, what muscles do we have here? Do you remember? What's the name? The quads, the quadriceps femoris. So remember that we have 1, 2, 3 that we can see, 4 under, and they all go, and where do they attach? Do you remember that they attach here? Exactly, in the shin bone, and we can feel this bony attachment. And the sesamoid bone, the patella, is in this joint. It's in the joint, it's in the tendon of this muscle.
So the patella is not connected?
No,
Bone to
it's
bone.
floating. It's really floating. It's inside a tendon. Yeah?
Mhm.
Okay.
And when you feel cramp,
Oh,
what do
it's a big question. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, let's see. So the patella, what we call the kneecap, has this inverted teardrop. It's written inverted teardrop shape. And I'm going to the next paragraph. The patella articulates. This word articulates, I don't know if I've used it before. It's when 2 bones come together and make a joint, they articulate. So the patella articulates with the femur, hovering over the knee on the patellar surface. So let me use my drawing skills.
So it's like moving, kind of?
Yeah, it's moving.
Floating.
It's floating. So this would be the quads. Ta-da! Okay, and then we have, what is this in my drawing?
Tibia.
The tendon.
Independent.
Oh.
And here we have the patella inside. Yeah. Okay. Gid.
Okay.
Okay. And now
It's a muscle tendon and the patella in the
muscle, tendon, bone inside. And the shin is here. Now let me draw it in a different way. Now I'm drawing the bones. Okay? Now I'm drawing the bones. This is the femur. Yeah? And this would be the tibia. Okay? And on top of it here, right, the muscles are here, let's say. You have this, it attaches here. What is this? This is the tendon. And here you have the patella. So here, if I go back to the bone, there's a grove. Ta'ala. Yeah?
Like it's
And this is where the patella on the back of it, you can look at the picture here, or the drawing here. At the back of it, it has something to fit there. So it moves there inside the tendon.
Yeah.
It's not touching, or it's there. It's not touching, but it's hovering. Yeah?
You can show on a baby.
when you touch yourself, what you can move is
The patella. Yeah, so this is not accurate because it's stuck here.
Yeah, it's not moving.
Yeah, but the muscles, so I will have the muscles here, right? It will be here. And then I will have the tendon. The tendon will be attached here. You can see this bony thing. And the patella will be inside. But it will be, if you can look, if you want to come closer, you can see that the bones have this gap, this groove. I hope I said it right. Groove.
And this bone shape.
Groove, yeah. This bone shape, right? Like I drew here. Yeah? Makes sense? So the patella is in the tendon. If I do like this, let's say, I'm lifting the tendon, I'm lifting the patella with it. You imagine? Okay? Let's see what else do we have here. The patella is used for,
Yeah, what is used for?
what is it used for? For protection, okay? And an extra lever. What is this lever? So, extra lever for knee extension and also protecting. Okay, so what's a lever? Do you know this? Imagine this. I have a bucket and I need to lift it. I have a bucket, a string, and I need to lift it to the level, the komalemala, to the third floor. Okay? It will be heavier if I'll just do this. Yeah? But what if I take a little wheel and I put the string on the wheel and I do this? Much easier. This is a lever. Okay? Same thing the knee is doing for the leg. It's much easier to lift the leg with the kneecap like this than it would be without it. Okay? You can turn the page. And we have the two joints of the knee. So as we could see in the shoulders, for instance, we saw that we don't have just one shoulder joint. We saw that we have three. Also here, we have two. So first one is the connection of the tibia and the femur. Tibiofemoral joint. What is the tibia? This one, right? Femur is this one. So it's that simple connection. And the second one is the patellofemoral joint. It's the connection of the patella and the femur. The patella is not on the tibia. It's only on the femur. Right? And you can see also, this one is very nice to see how the tendon is, how the patella is inside of the tendon and how the tendon is and how it's with the femur. Okay? And then I mentioned here other bony landmarks of the knee joints. Knee joints are the tibial tuberosity. This is where the tendon, you can touch it for yourself. This is where the tendon of the quadriceps femoris muscle is attached to. And some people have this, never mind.
Bump.
Have a bump and blah, blah, blah. Never mind. Okay.
What is the bump?
It's many things it can be, but it's like an ossification of this
But it's
area.
bone.
It's bone that grew.
It's not like a straight bone. The
No.
tibia.
Also, you can touch here, and maybe you will feel little dents, and you can see that this is where you got stuck in a table or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our childhood in
Yeah.
a bone.
Okay, so what are the knee joint movements? The primary movements of the knee joints are flexion and extension. You don't need to remember too much if it's hard for you, but flexion and extension, or extension and flexion, is this straight movement. Yeah. Then we have when the knee is bent. So only when the knee is bent, bend your knee, we have an outward rotation and an inward rotation. Yeah. So touch your femur, not your femur, touch your shin bone. Does it move? Yeah. Now when it's straight, can you move it? No. You're moving the entire leg. Yeah?
Move from the hip joint.
Yes, it's moving from here. So only when the knee is bent, we have these movements.
So this is the knee joint
The-
that moves when we bend
Yeah.
the knee and do this movement.
It's this bone that moves,
Yeah.
but from here.
The,
Okay? It's important to understand it because, for instance, this kind of movement, when we do lotus, we need to have this movement. If somebody have knee issues, to have this movement is not nice. Probably, or maybe. Okay. There are three components cultivating stability to the knee joint. Compensating the structural drawback of it. So what's the structural drawback? What's the problem with the structure here? As you can see, this joint, this joint. What's the problem here and here?
it's not connected.
It's not. It's a almost flat surface. We will see. It's almost a flat surface, and this is, you can see also here. This is round at the end, and this is flat. So how is this a strong joint? Yeah. So there are things to make it stronger.
Ligament.
Ligaments, and two more things. The the menisci, or menisci is plural, meniscus is singular, and the ligaments, of course, like you said, and the muscles.
Which muscles? All muscles along?
We will go. No,
And the
Big
meniscus
muscles.
is when everyone like injury.
Yeah.
Maybe when you do like a small.
yeah, you can turn the page and you see. So the meniscus, the menisci, are fibrocartilagous, god damn it with this word, fibrocartilagous discs, or discs, like in the spine, half moon shaped, or sometimes they say croissant shaped, half moon shaped, attached to the head of the tibia, created in order to improve the articulation of the round hands of the femur and the flat head of the tibial bone. So we have this flat surface or almost flat surface, right? And on top of it, we will have these circles. That will allow this joint to have a little bit more depth. Okay? And it's responsible, it's written, it's responsible for stabilizing the knee, weight distribution. You can imagine why weight distribution, because if it was just this rounded thing, it will touch on one point. But now it's wider, more rounded, yeah, and the weight distribution on the knee is different.
It's also kind of jelly.
It's kind of jelly, and it has what?
Bounce.
Yeah, bounciness, bumpiness, and this we call, how we call this? You can also read.
Tender.
Friction reduction, right? And stabilizing the knee. Okay. Injury in the meniscus will damage the stability of the knee joint, and over the years might wear the knee bone's articular cartilage. So under here, we have cartilage. Remember that we said that on top of every bone, we always have cartilage? Schus. Cartilage is this, it's look here, let's say, it's in pink. Usually it's drawn as blue. Yeah? Here there will also be a cartilage. Yeah? And let's say that I have some tear in the menisci. I have a tear in the meniscus. Then over time, this bone and that bone will start touching. Kera. And here you can see all kinds of tears that you can have in the meniscus, in the photos. And what you see here is you see also, soon we will understand, you will see also the ligaments, some of the ligaments cut. And you can see here on the side, can you see that there is something here on the side? This is the small bone of the shin. Okay? You understand what you're saying? And the top, the femur is not there. The patella is not there. We're just seeing the shin bones.
Is this one when people are overweight, it's fragile?
Yeah.
First?
Also, can be. Okay, so what are the ligaments of the knee? The main ligaments of the knee, because there are more smaller ones also, but the main ones, and maybe you've heard of these before, two cruciate ligaments, cruciate like cross, two cruciate ligaments and two external ligaments. So two from the inside and two from the outside. So first we start with the cruciate ligaments, and it's called ACL. Have you ever heard of ACL? This is a very common injury to tear the ACL. ACL, anterior cruciate ligament, originates from the back part of the femur head inserted into the front part of the tibial plateau. Plateau is a flat surface. Prevents the tibia from sliding forward. So if I have torn this ligament and I will do this, this is a drawer test, my shin will move. Yeah, because this ligament was holding it from moving. Now it's torn, let's say it's a full tear. Yeah? My tibia will move forward.
You can check mine. I mean, it's torn.
It's what? It's torn?
Yeah. It's used to be, at least.
There's a little bit of movement. Tiny bit, tiny bit.
Yeah, it's much more
Interesting.
Don't recover, right?
It can recover in a certain way. We will talk about it. Okay, and then we have the other one, less vulnerable to injury because it's behind that. You can see it's behind it in the drawing. Are you following me? Michal, it's okay?
Okay.
So this one the front, this one is the back. Yeah? And the back is doing the same thing on the opposite side. It's not allowing the tibia to go back. Originates from the front and it goes to the back. I have a feeling I'm a bit wrong.
No,
No, okay.
it's not to do this. It's not like to bring
Yeah.
it to the other side.
So when we squeeze,
Lock.
when we lock the
Yeah,
knee,
it's okay.
when we lock the knee, this is like it helping to not or not at all.
It helps for the femur not to go back. Yeah. No, I was thinking maybe I'm wrong with the. I'm not wrong. It's okay. Okay, so if I had this check, I will do this. Like I will try to push it back. If there is movement, maybe it's torn.
The movement you're gonna see here.
Here. Here. You will feel some movement. You will see it probably here. Like it's going back. This part is going back. Right? Because this is the shin bone. Yeah? Okay. Then we have two external ligaments. So we had the cruciate ligaments, they're inside, they're cross. And now we have the two external, they're from the outer side of the knee. The MCL and the LCL. Medial collateral ligament, we don't need to remember the name, but this is the name. A flat band located at the inner side of the knee. So where's your inner side of the knee? Right, this part, yeah? The inner side of the knee. Originates from the medial epicondyle. The epicondyles are these heads. These heads are called the epicondyles of the femur, inserted into the outer side of the tibia. So the tibia, the big shin bone, it comes here. Attaches, this one is attaching to the medial meniscus. So it's also connected to the meniscus here. Okay? Prevents the tibia from sliding medially inwards. This, not to be able to go there.
Yeah.
See, the body is very smart. From the inside, it's back and forth. From the outside, it's to the sides. And then we have the LCL. It's a rounded band this time. It's not so flat, it's more rounded. It's on the lateral, the outer side. Where is the outer side of the knee? Right, the outer side of the knee. Originates from the lateral epicondyle of the femur, inserted to the side head of the fibula, the other small bone. This is for the first time where the other small bone is part of the knee party. Until now, we didn't mention that small bone. It's the first time that it's connected. And it prevents the tibia from sliding outwards. The LCL is not attached to the meniscus. Yeah, here we said it's attached to the meniscus. Here it's not attached, and therefore is more flexible and less vulnerable. When something or someone is more flexible, it's less vulnerable to tear, to break, right? I always give this example, how to remember this. If I throw a glass ball or if I throw a rubber ball, yeah? The one that is more what? Less, let's say, less flexible will break. The one that is more flexible will not break. So by saying this, which one of the two ligaments is more vulnerable to injury?
MCL.
The MCL. Okay.
Because she's attached. She's more flexible.
She's
Less
less.
flexible, and she's attached to the meniscus.
It's attached. It's less flexible. It's attached to the meniscus, and this is why it has less movement. Let's say, so it can tear easier.
And this one, how do you protect and become more flexible?
To be more flexible with the ligament.
Yeah.
We don't want them to be too flexible. I mean, we can, when people are too stiff, we can have this rotation movement maybe for the knee, but a little bit. Like, something like this, for instance, like you bend the knee and you move maybe like this, but we don't want them to be too flexible. Okay. The problem is, remember that the problem is when the ligaments generally are too flexible. And then we have, and this is what we should care about as yoga teachers, yoga practitioners. This is what we should care about, or movers. This is what we should care about the most, is the muscles. Because this, we have really something to do with. Okay? This component, in asterisk, this component might be the most significant stabilizer of the knee joint. All right. So what do we have here? Do you recognize the two groups of muscles in the pictures? Who are they? Which are they?
The quads.
The front is the quad. It's also written. And the back is the hamstrings.
I didn't look. I look on the picture.
Good. I know, you can't see that it's written.
So the three is called quads.
Quads. You can say quads. And if you really want to be cool, you can say hammies. I never say this. But hamstrings, hammies.
In Australia.
Oh my
How do
God.
they say hammies?
Hammies. No, hamstrings and quads, or quadriceps femoris. Okay, so we say this again, we know it already, but the quadriceps femoris, the quads, are a group of 4 muscles located at the front of the thigh, connected at the tibial tuberosity. Remember what is the tibial tuberosity? This, yes. The tibial tuberosity is a bump. We have many tuberosities. Tuberosity is a bump where the ligament of the quads are attached. Inside this ligament, what do we have?
Fibula?
Fascia. Patula.
Patel?
Patula, tibula,
Patula.
patella, or kneecap.
Kneecap.
Easy. Good, very good. And the tibial tuberosity via the patellar tendon. The most powerful extensor of the knee joint, these are the quads. The most powerful extensor of the knee joint, responsible for many functions such as standing, walking, running, and more, right? We need the strength of the quads to do all those things, to lift the knee and to walk, stand, run, sit down, sit up, and so on. Okay, then we have the hamstrings. And for the hamstrings, I put this guy that is doing this. Actually, in this, has both hamstrings and quads together to lift the leg. The hamstring is a group of 3 posterior. What is posterior?
Post.
Back muscles of the thigh. Originates at the ischium tuberosity, or the ischium. Where is your ischium?
Here.
Exactly, our sitting bones, and inserted at the tibia and fibula bones. Tibia and fibula bones are the bones of the shin bones. Remember from a moment ago? And we said that we have a ligament here, a ligament there. It's part of the knee. So it's very important that both the quads go over the knee and the hamstrings go over the knee. Why is it? Why is it important? To keep the stability of the knee. This is how we can know for a fact that these muscles are knee stabilizers because they go over the knee. They include the knee. Okay.
Is a way to only work on the stabilizers, or you just work on all the muscle?
There is a way to work on stability more than on strength. Yes. Yeah. All the functional movement, all the body weight, all these things, the squats, these things that, or also like, let's say an example, you're standing on one leg, and I'm pushing you a little bit. Yeah, this will provoke stability.
Some balance walk.
Balance.
Some walking steps.
Yeah.
Or they do
And
portal
down.
movement? Like,
Yeah.
And
And
if you work on the toes too? Oh, in the heel?
yeah. Basically everything that activates them. But if you want to generate stability, you need to take away some stability and to see how the body is reacting for it.
Like yesterday on the...
Exactly. Yesterday we did tree pose on the bricks, and it was very nice, and I said not everybody needs to do it. Some people already struggling with stability when they stand on the floor. Yeah. It has to do with many things. Also, the more you age, if you don't practice it, the more you age, the less you have stability. Working on stability is really important, and of course, it's not only the knee or the quads and hamstrings that will work, it's the core, it's the everything. Yeah? But it was a good question, Yuda. If you want to work on stability, it's a bit different than just strength. Yeah?
And when you work on stability, it helps you to ground also, no?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
at the end, you need both.
Yes. Yeah. And they will affect each other also. But I think that sometimes, for some people, it's missing to work on stability. Like they go to the gym and they work only on strength. They're very aware of the strength, maybe also on how it looks, but less on stability. And I mention
Then
it.
It's not balanced.
It's
even
not-
dangerous.
Exactly. And I mentioned it also on the core. I don't know if I mentioned it. I think I did. But I will say it now anyway. It's so I remember that I used to teach in country clubs in Israel, and then you have the people who come from the gym, and you recognize them because they're big. Yeah, they're like my teacher Gil Zolber used to call them refrigerators, right? So they're big, and then everybody's doing a plank, and you can see a 70-year-old that has been coming for my class for a few years is doing a better plank than these 20, 30-year-olds that look like refrigerators. So what did they work on and what did they didn't work on? They worked on
Muscles.
big exterior muscles on the outside,
The upper,
But not on the
and
small.
mostly, yeah, and not on the stabilizing core muscles. Even the shoulder can be huge. My shoulder is not huge, but I can stay for a while. Yeah. So their shoulder is huge, but it's very hard for them to stay. The hands will shake, and I've seen it often. Okay. So working. I'm going back to the hamstrings, the last paragraph. Working together, the hamstrings are working together in bending and extending the knee, preventing hyperextension of the knee, creating inner and outer rotation of the shin bone. When contracted, they will create hip extension. So you can see this guy is doing hip extension.
What is the shin bone again?
These bones.
Those two, tibia and fibula?
Yeah. Okay, so we understand that the muscles are very important and we've got something to do with them. Now I have a little review, and you can read it at home if you want, a little review of the quads, but I want to talk about one in particular. So let's have a quick scan. We can see the first one, just a quick one. Then the second one under it. Remember I told you there is one and then the other? The second one under it, and then two in the sides. Okay? The one that I want to talk about in particular, they're all important, but this one is a little bit different. It's called the rectus femoris. This is a name to remember. Rectus femoris. Why is it different? You know this game as kids, like find the difference? So look at them, look a little bit and see if you can find the difference.
We have connected
One moment.
is a connection.
Where do you see it's connecting? It's starting on the pelvis.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the difference from the rest. The rest are starting somewhere on the bone, the femur bone. Right? And this one in particular starts on the pelvis. Where exactly? On the it's called the AIIS, the anterior inferior iliac spine. So here we have the ascis, what we call ascis. This is anterior superior, it's above pelvic or iliac spine. And under it we have another bump. Let's see here. So we have this that we can touch, and we have here that it's a bit deeper. So this rectus femoris starts here. Michal, you're in front of the... Hello. This will be on YouTube also, just say. Michal. Okay. So it will come from here and it will go all the way where? Here. Yeah? And why do we care about this guy? Girl, I don't know. Why do we care about this? Because here, what do we have? We have a joint. So the other ones that are going from somewhere here to here will not have the same job in life like this one have, right? Because here there's a joint, it goes over this joint. So the rectus femoris is going over two joints. What does it mean? It means that it's a hip flexor. It flexes the hip. Okay? It means that whatever I'm doing, and of course it's part of a group, but whatever I'm doing with the hip is also related to this muscle. Okay? And then it means, another thing it means, that if I want to properly stretch that group, because it's a part of a group, the group is the quads, right? If I want to properly stretch it, I need to include two joints. Which are these joints?
Hip joint.
The hip joint and the knee joint. And this is why it's super simple to see. If I'm stretching, I want to stretch the quads, do it. Stand up and do it, because it's good to stand up, although you can see it with me. But I want to stretch. Do it like I do. Like bring the knee a little bit forward. Do you stretch anything? I mean, this is bent, so why you're not stretching? Because we also need this. Now, you take it a little bit back. Now tuck the tailbone. What are you doing when you're tucking the tailbone? You're rotating the pelvis backwards, so you're opening here more. Do you feel it more when you tuck the tailbone? You don't feel more? When you rotate the pelvis back? Slightly? Oh, maybe your quads are very long. But, yeah, can you feel it?
It's also moving like forward.
Yeah. So I have this, for instance, we do this sometimes in my classes. It's not so nice without the mat. I will do it here for a moment. We do this. Yeah. What am I doing here? The same thing. I just have the ground for stabilization. Yeah? The stretch is very intense. I want to make it more intense. I will rotate. Oh my God. I will rotate. I will rotate the pelvis backwards. Some people have longer than me, then they will rotate the pelvis. Let's say that they will able to do this even. Okay? I'm very happy I don't have very long. It's because I work. And it can be longer.
You push your pelvic forward.
I rotate it backwards. So it's here, right? It's attaching here. Now it's not stretched. Now it's stretched.
And is it better to feel a little bit or to feel stretch?
I think it's nice, but I don't know if it's better. I think it's nice because it means that you're working. People, I remember also myself when I was very flexible. Remember I told you about myself. I was very, very flexible. I did not feel muscles like I feel them now. So now when I feel like, oh, this, I can't do this. Now I'm like, yes, I have muscles. Because I had very, very long muscles that didn't hold my body together. Didn't hold my body. Okay, and the rest are, they're starting from somewhere on the femur and they go over. You can read later.
And it's really attaching to the bones.
Yeah.
It doesn't go to inside here. Because I know when you massage the psoas, we start by here.
Yeah, but psoas is different.
Yeah.
But this is here to here.
But
C'est
we
tout.
can massage like that also.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. I mean, I don't know if it's nice. We need to see if it's nice. But this,
We can
find this one, the big one, and then you find the other one. And then I'm massaging it for myself. I don't feel something in particular, but
But there's something like when you bend and slightly you slide your heel and you can feel the muscle.
the muscle. But are you touching now this muscle or the psoas? Because this is here.
Nice, this one.
Yeah.
And when you press massaging, you can help also to release some tension.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay. So, what did we just have? We said, let's go over it. We said, we don't need to look back. We can remember. We said that we have the knee joint. Yeah? It's a very vulnerable joint. Or, yeah, we can, okay. I want to start with something else and vulnerable came out of my mouth. Let's say it's very important joint, right? Because our entire body is on it and we're walking with this joint, yeah? And it's important, it's very big, it's the biggest joint in our body. It's also not very stable joint, right? And what do we have to stabilize it? Let's go from the inside. Inside, what do we have? The meniscus or menisci. And then outside, no, inside, cruciate ligaments, outside, exterior ligaments, again. So we have the cartilage inside, the meniscus, menisci. We have the ligaments inside, outside. And then we have what we just talked about, the muscles. The name ACL, yes, PCL. And then the most important thing, or the most important thing that we can do something with is the muscles. Then we have from the front the quads, the quadriceps femoris group, and we mentioned this very nice, what's the name? Rectus femoris. And then from the back we have the hamstrings. We talked about the hamstrings last class, yeah? But we saw there are, I don't know if you remember, let's go for a moment. Tell you which page, or did I, no, okay. Page 75. And we saw that the biceps femoris, this is the first one here, the biceps femoris has two heads, a two-headed muscle located at the posterior external part of the leg. So also here, I mentioned it many times, but also here we kind of have four heads or four something, yeah, and it balances. So it's a very good balance with the quads. The hamstrings and quads are in a very good balance. They all start at the, what is this? Do you remember? Ischium. Sitting bones. They all start in the sitting bones and they go over the knee. Okay? And we mentioned that if something is going over it, it means that it can also probably, most likely, stabilize it.
And the muscle on
IT band,
is connected also to the
we will mention it. It's not a muscle, it's a fascia, part tendon. And it affects it and it can pull the kneecap out, but it's not a muscle that is connected to it. But I will mention it soon. You can remind me also. Okay. And also Yuda asked a very good question. He said, like, can we work on stability in particular? And we said, yes, absolutely. Now we move forward and we have knee function in an open and closed kinematic change. So I introduce it here, but in the knee joint, but it goes for other joints as well, and you will understand. This is page 97. So also this, when we're talking about safety of joints, when we're talking about injury prevention, this is something very important to know and to understand. I think it's also relevant for massages like Thai massage and things that it's very relevant. I'm just not thinking it's relevant for oil massage. It's very relevant, and this is why I don't go, or I hardly go into Thai massage, because they lock you into something, and then it's a very much closed kinematic chain. Okay, but also when we think about people with injuries, or when we think about how to, as I said before, prevent injuries, so we need to take this under account. What is this exactly? So let's read. Practicing in an open or closed kinematic chain has an important influence on the knee's health and safety, but I can change any joint there. The legs will operate in an open kinematic chain when the feet will be disconnected from the ground. The legs will operate in a closed kinematic chain when the feet will be on the ground. Okay, so you can see. You want to say something? Yeah. So you can look at the two figures. This guy is an open kinematic chain because the foot is not on the ground. This guy is a closed kinematic chain for the knee because the knee is on the ground. The foot, sorry, is on the ground. This foot, if there was a wall here, it will be a closed kinematic chain. Okay? My hand now, is it an open or closed kinematic chain? Open. Now I have a wall, closed.
So warrior 3 is the open, and the warrior 1 and 2, it's closed.
Exactly.
For legs.
Exactly. And if I have a wall in warrior 3, closed.
Like we did yesterday.
Like we most often we do warrior 3 with a wall in my classes, closed. Okay, so warrior 1, why is it in red? Dangerous. Warrior 1, the classic one, not the one that we do in my classes, right? I always call it, I don't know if you've noticed, variation of warrior 1. Because actual warrior 1 is when the heel is on the ground and the foot is slightly out. Okay, so Yuda, come be my model for a moment, just because you are moving already. And do a warrior 1, please. Okay, so you don't have to take the hands. So here we can see the heel is down. It's a closed kinematic chain. Okay, and also there is a ringing of the knee. The thigh is supposed to go there, inwards. Don't do it too much. And the knee, the foot is going there. Now, if I told you, Yuda, to take this foot in, like we do a variation of Warrior One and to do here, now the knee is straight. Would you agree that it's less dangerous?
Yes.
The knee is less vulnerable? Okay. Also, this is in the air. Okay? But even if I put something here, no, lean on this. Even if it's solid, it's not soft. It's a closed kinematic chain, but I'm keeping the alignment, I'm keeping a straight knee, the ankle, the knee. Are you still okay? The ankle, the knee, and the hip joint are in one line. As soon as he's doing, go back to the other one. As soon as he's doing this, especially if the foot is like this too much, this is too much. As soon as he's doing this, the knee is now ringing, dangerous for ligaments, dangerous for meniscus, right? The knee is ringing, the thigh is going there, the shin is going there,
And the hips are not square.
and the hips are not square. Dangerous to 1, 2, 3 joints, depending where is more vulnerable. So if I were, and I will not do it, thank you, Yuda. If I were, let's say he's in Warrior One. This doesn't happen in classes, but I'm just taking you there. He's in Warrior One Classic, and I push him, and I push him. Yeah, this can be a thing for the knee, right? Or for the ankle, depends where is more vulnerable. If he's like me, very vulnerable on the hips, not nice to the hips. Very vulnerable on the knee, not, you know, but you don't have to be pushed. You can just be in the asana over and over again. You feel something there, no?
Like dangerous.
Yeah. So the body is signaling this. So this is not just the fact, this Warrior One Classic, it's not just the fact that it's a closed kinematic chain. This is what we're talking about. It's also the fact that the knee is ringed. Okay? So then we have Warrior Two. Who wants to show Warrior Two? Michal wants to show Warrior Two. Okay, so why is Warrior Two? I don't want to talk. You tell me. Why is Warrior Two safer?
has the זווית של הרגל.
The angle of the leg. So what we're talking about. So Warrior Two is you need to rotate the hips here. Yeah? And what do we see? 1, 2, 3 are one line.
And
No
the
rotation.
hips need to be more like on line of the action.
Yes, but
Okay.
absolutely. But this is now we're seeing this. Okay?
But I need it to be, how I need to be?
This leg needs to be there.
More?
Lepo.
This?
No. No. You were good before. Just the foot needs to be. Okay. Okay? So less dangerous.
Yes. For me, Warrior One is not nice at all.
But we're not doing in my classes Warrior One.
Yes,
Not
I
but.
know.
And we're not doing because of this. We're rarely doing it. Okay? Then what if she would go into Warrior 3? Which is a very hard one. You don't really have to. You can do it for a moment. Poo.
What's in Warrior Three?
That's it. Yeah. Wow, very nice one. Okay? It's in one line, nothing here, open kinematic chain, not dangerous. Okay? Thank you very much.
Nice.
Very nice Warrior 3. It means that you have strong quads and other things.
So when you do like aerial yoga, you are a lot in open.
Exactly. You're taking asanas that you would do on the floor, and you're in an open, many open kinematic chains.
Real yoga, it's on the hammocks.
They can be also some dangerous because sometimes the knee or even your
This is what I want to say. Sometimes it's a close because you're tangled in something. Okay. So the safety, and this is what I showed. So we have the kinematic, closed and open kinematic chain. This is something different than this, okay? But here I just describe if we have wall, we don't have wall. Wall, floor, doesn't matter. You do mimuna.
Yeah. I have a lot of experience in life making those.
You know this? This is,
I do this, but differently, like the tiny or like.
go get the tahini.
Put it in the fridge.
But we have a Jewish Moroccan holiday that you do this. It's on the table. Yeah. Okay, so this is one thing, and this is another thing. The other thing is also connected. I didn't write it, but I'm telling you now. It's also connected to the two other joints of the leg. I would even say it's also connected to the SI joint, or the SI joint will also be connected. So the knee, sacroiliac joint that we worked on yesterday. The knee will affect, and we saw this, will affect, or a position that we take, an asana that we take, will affect the safety of, or all of the joints will affect the safety of each other. Am I saying it properly?
The alignment
But
of them.
the alignment of the body, the alignment of a certain asana will affect the most. I kind of lost the plot. But I'll start again. I know what I want to say, but it's not coming correct. Okay. So, let's say I'm in warrior 3. My leg is in the air. I'm talking about the back leg, still the same thing. My leg is in the air. It's a straight line, yeah? My ankle is not vulnerable here. My knee is not vulnerable. My hip is a little vulnerable because it's carrying weight, yeah? And my sacroiliac maybe is vulnerable also, okay?
It's the combination between pressure and alignment.
Yes. Then I have,
Straight or rotate.
exactly. Then I have warrior 2. We said it's less dangerous because it's in a straight line. You're on the floor. Yeah, I'm talking about the same back leg that we talked about. And then we said once we're wringing the knee, it's more dangerous for the knee, or if you're more vulnerable, it can be very dangerous for the SI joint. This depends where you're more vulnerable, where's your weak point. And we can do the same things when we talk about the hands, and when we talk also about the spine. This is why, for instance, seated forward bends are more dangerous than standing forward bends
For the knee,
for the spine.
for the spine.
So last class,
But this one will be.
the class Monday, we talked about the fact that forward bends can be dangerous for the safety mechanism of the lower back. Remember, for the discs. Yeah? When I'm sitting, I am closing the kinematic chain. Or let's say I am sitting and I'm grabbing my feet. Okay? If I'm standing in Uttanasana, let's say, here I have a bigger spread between my legs. My hands, let's say, are on bricks, whatever, or even on the floor. Yeah, it's less. My spine is less, or the chain is less compressed. Yeah.
For the joints.
Yeah. Now I'm seated and I'm in a forward bend. The kinematic chain is closed. Now it's closer. More vulnerable. Now the teacher is coming and say, "Oh, Tal, you're not going very far." Okay, and so we can bear this in mind. Floor makes it more dangerous when we're on the floor, unless we're lying down. Yeah, but to some extent. And once we're closing, this is a closed kinematic chain. Yeah, let's say I'm taking the leg behind my head. I'm grabbing it somehow, more dangerous. I have a strap, it's more open, or I'm just like this, less dangerous. Hmm? Does it make sense? Okay.
And on your practice, you will not advise to do a lot of this pushing.
We hardly, if you've noticed, we hardly have these. I don't think I've taught this in a very long while. But we have things, this is going to the class before, we have things like this. Or we have, if I will sometimes do one leg. It's easier, it's more open. Or I will sometimes do this, Upavishta Konasana. Yeah? So it's more open. Yeah? Or what else do I do to keep it more open? I don't have a lot of seated forward, closed chain, seated forward bend. I don't teach Paschimottanasana. Hardly. Yeah? Like I said, yeah. I will break it a little bit. Okay? So, what do we do?
So the open is better,
Safer.
safer.
Yeah.
Because you activate.
Because you don't have the...
You're not like leaning on the.
Also, but also you have where to move, once you're closed, once you're holding something, it's closed, all the joints are more vulnerable. Okay? So if I'm holding one leg, or if I'm holding the wall, or if I'm sitting on the floor. Now, okay, now your hands are not touching. Once your hands are touching, more vulnerable. Okay, so you can turn to the conclusion. How do we maintain healthy knee function? Knee pain is a big warning sign. So I've heard this many years ago. Sometimes they say, if you have pain, keep going. Have you heard this? This was, I think now it's less and less out there. But some people say, I've heard this in class. I remember because I keep using this example for years, that a student told the teacher, I have pain in the knee. Is it okay? Should I keep going? I said, yeah, keep going. And I remember this because I was just doing the Gil Zolberg course, and he said, no pain in the knee is a good pain. Pain in the knee is always a warning sign. Okay? So this is the first thing to know. There's no good pain. Keep going, it's good. Avoid knee pain. Instruct your students to do the same. If your knees hurt in a specific pose, try to find a variation or get out of the pose. So many times you will see that if you go out of the pose, you walk and you come back, it's better. Or not. Or sometimes not today. Work correctly with the four corners. I will talk about it in a moment. The four corners of the foot. Press them equally to the ground or in mid-air. Alignment of the foot will affect the alignment of the ankle, knee, hip, and of the entire body. I will also write the SI joint, and the entire body. So the feet, we're on the feet, right? It's our base. If I'm standing and I'm not standing correctly on the feet, it will affect my posture. So I know this when I tell you in Tadasana, I tell you to shift the weight of the body from the front to the back. As soon as I'm doing this, look, let's say I'm here. I chose one posture, but it can be another one. I'm here. I have a lot of pressure here. I have also some pressure on my knees. Too much pressure on the front of the foot. Yeah, this can also do things to the bones, to the toes. Yeah, my entire posture is different because of where I have my how do you say? Balance. Yeah? Now I take the weight of the body back. My quads needs to work. Yeah? My lower back, even if I'm still kind of leaning, yeah? My lower back is much less of a shelf. Yeah? Now if I tell myself also to do this, okay, it's great. But already just from doing this, my body is arranging itself. What did I do? I shift the weight of the body back, but this is not enough because I can shift the weight of the body back. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but I can have my foot out. Yeah, a little bit out. And some people, you see, I'm exaggerating, but The mount of the big toe is not touching, especially in asanas. Yesterday we did, what did we do? Parshvottanasana, this asana. Okay, we did Parshvottanasana with the wall. Okay, and the student next to me, but it's not just her, I just looked, her big toe was, the mount of the big toe was up. Okay, this is something that happens all the time in asanas. So one of the first things that we need to learn in practicing properly is how to position the foot, and this goes to all asanas, even if you're in mid-air, how to position the foot properly. So how? You can see the four corners, sometimes you can say three corners, but the four corners of the foot. So it's the mount of the big toe, the mount of the small of the baby toe, and you can say inner and outer heel or center of the heel. Okay, you can also write this one down. It doesn't have to be inner and outer heel, it can be just the center, and will have a very similar effect, or even the same.
And for you, it's not right to raise our toes.
So why do we raise the toes? Why do teachers?
Yeah, I learned like that because to feel like this part of the foot.
It's good for a moment. It's good as a practice, but not all the time. This is the toes, the fingers are the edges of our nervous system. So when I see people, for instance, in Tadasana, they stand in Tadasana and their fingers are very soft. I know that they're not in the room. They're physically in the room, but they're thinking about lunch or what they fought with their wife. Yeah, they're not, because I'm saying, they're not fully embodying the asana. And I can see it with the fingers, also with the toes. If you're lifting, this is the other side. You're lifting too much, it's like you're too alert. No, relax the foot. You can still control things. This is how we want to do things. We talk about it with the nervous system. You want to do things out of ease. Yeah? Part of it is how do we use the body. It's like also how do we stretch in the Tadasana. Yeah? So we can stretch or we can stretch. Yeah? So, so I see this, and it's good. I see this with students. It's good as a learning curve because it activates the quads. It makes you more alert. But at the end, it should be down. The toes should be down. Okay. Do you have anything to ask about the four corners of the foot or the three corners of the foot?
No, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
At the end, when we practice, it's only, I don't know, hour a day maximum.
But it's a lot.
What about all the rest of the day?
It's a lot because it brings awareness. So even when, let's say you're going to therapy, you're coming to me and we're talking 1 hour a week. But if you're doing your job correctly, you don't need to think about it all the time, but you have some consciousness, some awareness there. The entire week will be colored by this talk. Yeah, you will change some habits. You will look at things differently. This is how it goes also with yoga. You don't have to do yoga every day. You don't have to do yoga every day. If you do it and you take it, and it's a learning process, and it's an ongoing, never-ending until we die process.
Yeah, but we're talking about the healthy knee functions.
But you
It's
take it.
not only the practice, it's every movement we do during
Yeah.
the day. It's walking,
Yeah.
sitting.
But it's walking is less dangerous than practicing
Of course.
lotus, right? Okay, what's the problem with lotus? Let me ask you.
You open so much from the outside. None of them.
This is usually a question that people ask, and you didn't ask, so I'm asking, and then we will continue. What's good words? But let's see. So first of all, to have a proper lotus, you need to have this joint open, this joint open, and this joint open. Would you agree? Let's see. Okay, because you have, okay, first of all, you need to have, and I mentioned it briefly yesterday, that to open the hip joint, you don't only open like this, you also need to do like this. Remember that we did this in the very beginning of the class?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the signs that your joint is open is that you can do this. People that, not many, but some yesterday were stuck like this, it means that they're not enough, I don't know if it's enough, but not a lot of movement in this direction. Okay? So how is it related to lotus? Because lotus is not, good lotus will not look like this. It will look like this, like Sukhasana. Okay? And then, so you bring the ankle here. You need to have a lot of movement in the ankle as well. A lot of movement here. Okay? A lot of movement here, a lot of movement in the ankle. Now what happens to my knee? My shin bone is rotated. Where? In. Not out, in. Well, you can also call it out. But it's rotated. Yeah? Maybe it's rotated in. And my thigh is rotated out. Okay? Is it dangerous? Could it be dangerous for the knee? Yes. Yeah. Let's say that I have no movement here. Nothing. I'm like this. I have some very stiff ankles. Okay, I'm here. Now the teacher tells you, I'm here. I'm not going to do this. The teacher tells you, push the knee down. Don't push the knee down. If you're, I have this very flexible ankle, so I can do this. Oh, it's still not touching, but I can do this. Yeah? So here is open for me. Here is open for me. This can go down. Then I can bring the other one and pull it up. But, yeah, this one is less open. Yeah? It's harder. Well, you cannot see it. It's actually more open. But, yeah, and then I put this leg here. There's more pressure here. So this is crazy ringing of the knee. The knee doesn't like to be ringed. Yeah? This is already ringing of the knee. Why do I need to lift it? Okay?
Why? Why is because you're doing something for meditation?
Well, it's when you want to sit, okay, when you're Indian and you're sitting for all of generations on the floor and the hips are very open. And we see also that they squat as they poop, especially in the past, maybe not now. So all of this, the hip joints are very open, the ankles very open. They have a different structure than what we have, what Indian people also have today. Yeah? And for them back then to sit in lotus was extremely easy. It's like a lock. So imagine that it's very open and you just lock it and it's very easy to sit. But this meditation is happening anyway. If you're meditating, you're meditating. You can sit with the sofa behind you. I don't recommend necessarily, but you can, of course. And then sometimes I do recommend to sit with the sofa behind you because of weakness or something, and then you can meditate. If the mind is too busy with the body, it can't meditate. Okay.
I remember it was, I don't know which class, but I think one day I forced myself to do the lotus and I stretch my ankles. And I'm sensitive, so the best is to...
It's the ligament.
Is the ligament, yeah.
The best is to work on muscles. Like these kind of muscles. And okay.
But sitting is cases of many injuries.
Yes, many injuries, especially going quickly into it. So sometimes, you do like some people, they do headstand and they arrange the legs. It's kind of okay because it's an open kinematic chain. But let's say that I'm putting it quickly here. Yeah, I'm putting it quickly, and then I have some sort of a bind. This, that I could never really do because I have short hands. This thing, have you ever seen this? Lotus and grabbing. The Mahamudra, it's called. It's very close kinematic chain.
Yeah.
So it can be dangerous for almost everybody. Okay. Work correctly, we said this. Pull the kneecap up by activating the quads when the knees are straight, especially when bearing weight. Okay, so it's not that all day long you're going to activate your kneecaps. You shouldn't. But when you're practicing, this is practicing. When you're practicing, the kneecaps are lifted, not in the everyday life. Make sure to keep the knee alignment in yoga poses, especially when the knee is bearing weight. What weight am I talking about? Body weight. Yeah? In most asana, the knee should be just above the ankle and in line with the second toe. So we can see also that the knee, let's say this is the leg of warrior 2 or warrior 1, doesn't matter. The kneecap should have a line overlooking the gap between the second and third toe. This line. For most people. Some students will have different bone structure. You will need to adapt to their structure and find their unique alignment. I remember I was substituting in a very nice studio in Israel, and there was one guy came and he had toe out. So he was walking like this. Toe out can come like, and as I'm imitating it, it comes from here. But some people, this is straight, and the way their shin bone is glued, I don't know, is structured, is that it's turned out. Okay? So this is turned, the knee is facing forward, and this is out. And he came and he said, I have this, don't correct me in standing asanas. Okay? It's very good that he said, that he's saying this, because if teachers will correct him, they can injure him. So when he's standing in warrior, any warrior, he's like this. The knee, you will see, is facing forward. This is going out.
And it's okay.
It's not so okay. I mean, it's okay. It's not so okay for him, because as he walks, he will have some issues. It's not a very nice postural issue. But as for asanas, it's absolutely okay.
There's some name for this.
Yeah, there is. This has a name we will see for the knees, but this particular thing, I don't remember the name. It's some sort of a torsion maybe, but it's a thing. We also learn it with Gil Stolberg.
Yeah.
Said we. Okay. So we need to adapt to their structure and find their unique alignment. Next one, keep the balance between all muscles affecting the knee, back and front thigh. So it's not just the quads and hamstrings. Let's see what else. Back and front thigh, inner and outer thigh as well. Okay, so Julie, you mentioned the iliotibial band. It's here. Yeah, you can see the iliotibial band, and we can see also its iliotibial band starts at the ilium, goes all the way down to the tibia. It's this band that I told you of fascia and tendon, and this band can become very short and tight. We can massage it a little bit. Yes. And then we have the hip abductors. It's all the butt muscles that are taking the leg away. And then we have all the inner thigh, the adductors that are bringing the hip in. And you don't need to remember the names, or you don't even need to know the names of the muscle. You need to know inner thigh, outer thigh. Okay, give special attention to strengthen the inner thigh and soften and stretch the outer thigh. Why? Because generally, whenever something in the body, whenever something is more exterior, for instance, I have more control over the quads than I have on the hamstrings. I have more strength in the quads than I have in my inner thigh. Yeah? And the deeper the muscles are, like core muscles, we have less, we don't see them, we have less control over them. Okay? So we give more attention to these muscles, to the muscles that we are not in contact, eye contact, or that they're more interior. They have less representation in the brain. Okay?
We work on them less on today moves. Like you cannot naturally work on them today.
Yes. On the deep muscles. Yeah. Okay. In yoga practice, a lot of attention is given to opening of the hips. Now it's becoming less mobility, but it's still, people want to do the splits. We have this desire for open things, making the inner thigh more and more flexible, and that's it. The special attention and desire for open the hips may cause imbalance affecting the knee. The hip adductors end up being very long and weak, while the hip abductors and the IT band, the iliotibial band, becoming too short and tight. So this is something that happens from this imbalance practice, to have this very open, yeah? And also all the cross-legged, this is open, this is long, this is short. Yeah? And this is why yesterday, not this exactly why, because we didn't work on knees, we work on SI joint. Well, we started the class sitting like this. Also, when we will have a knee class, we will start, or maybe we will start the class sitting like this, because it gives some balance. Not always the opening. You're not. I promise you, you're not. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it. But
With women, it's very hard to see because we see it. This is softer than this. Yeah. With men, but it's like this.
because we do not use it.
Because we use it less. Yeah. So here I give you also like a recipe. I like to give recipes of a knee class. So what would I work? You think that I would work, maybe you think that I would work only on quads and hamstrings. But no. I will work on, of course, quads and hamstrings. Yeah, it's here. But I will also work on the hip abductors, hip adductors, IT band, shins and calves. They're also related, right? The shins here, the calves, these are the calves. They're also related to the knee. Footwork, right? We learn about the foot, correct positioning of the knee, hip mobility, and psoas. We will understand hip mobility and psoas as we continue, how they affect the knee.
You will do the class on Monday?
For the knee,
Yeah.
I need to do it, I think, on Thursday, because this is where Michal is coming.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
So Monday I will do something else. Okay, we're almost done. Then we have what Michal also mentioned, is we have the O and X knees. It's related to the hips. Okay, just to mention it, when we will learn about the hips, we will learn a little bit better about this. And here, if you want to read, I added like something from the internet about common knee injuries. If you're interested in educating yourself, you don't have to read it. Okay? So that's it about the knees. Do you have any questions? Any thoughts?
What is affecting this standing? The gain volume?
It's the way the hips are connected to the. We will learn when we learn.
It's a structure? Or
It's a structure. It's structural. it can become better.
Can or
It
can?
can, absolutely can.
Just
But
by open the hips?
just by working on foot positioning, working on strengthening and stretching.
Right
We
when
can.
the kids are born, you take them to take the picture of the hips. You remember when like this 6 weeks?
You
or
took
something?
picture? You took an X-ray?
Yes.
Okay,
when
I,
they
I have
6
no idea
weeks,
because I'm here.
You get birth here, but in Israel, after 6 or 8 weeks, you need to take two picture of the hips because then they can see if you have, because babies like born like this,
Yeah.
and the how is of it?
The angle?
The angle start like 180 and then
Yeah.
during the life. So if they see something, they like make
They
a
put the
bigger
cast, yeah.
the leg, and then it can make it like they can fix it.
Yeah. But also,
So during the life.
yeah. So this is actually to change the bone structure, but also about this, there are like things to say that it's not the right thing to do, because once you're having the kid the 6 months in a cast, do you know these kids? Have you ever seen it? It's very bad for the body, and there are other ways to do. And my friend did this with her boy. She decided not to put the cast on, and one of the main things that she did, she took him. So you cannot do it as they're small babies, but when they start to walk, she took him to the beach. It was by I don't know who gave her this method, but a physiotherapist or something like this. She took him to the beach, and he had to walk a lot on the beach. So the foot, you understand, the foot is doing this on the beach. There's instability, and the hip joint is affected. So
That makes more sense.
So Gil Zolberg have some many
stories about this?
yes, and it can like you really help to people.
Yes.
Even when they're like 20 years old.
Yeah,
16
yeah.
years old, really
Yeah.
help.
And this really affects the knees because, so think about the structure of the, how do I do it? The structure of the knee. Yeah? I will have, if I have knock knees or X knees, can you stand in X knees? You're exaggerating. Okay, so if I have X knees,
It's more the end.
yeah, where will I have more pressure? On the outside or the inside? What will be open, what will be closed? Do the O, try and do the O. Where will I have more pressure? So I have now, this is, let's say, my right knee. I have here left. I have O. O.
Yeah, the inner.
In O, it's the
Pressure on the outside.
outside. In the X, inside. So I will have more wear and tear either on the outside or the inside. And also my ankle will look different, my foot will look different. Yeah? So working on things, I mean, you can actually work and fix. Iyengar yoga, they do it a lot. They tie you and they fix, or not fix, but make it better. Also your awareness. Yeah? If you have a tendency and you go always with a tendency, it's one thing, but what if you have awareness and you take the foot differently, you position the foot differently, you take Tadasana differently, maybe you put bricks
if you
and
want to open the X.
exactly.
Not to make pressure. If you have the X, like the in, so you put the brick outside.
Exactly, and you press against, so you can have like a brick or a ball. The little Pilates ball is very good for that, against the wall, and you push. Yeah, so there are things to do to change for sure.
Nice.
And with the knee, it's connected to the perineum or not at all? If you have like, if your perineum is like very loose, it will also affect like your legs. And
The pelvic floor, you mean?
yes, you know the muscle, the perineum is on
Yeah.
the pelvic floor. And I was on, because I know a lot of women in France, they are weak knee because the pelvic floor is very weak.
No, I don't know about this. Interesting. No. I don't know. Okay. Good.
Very good.
Good. Okay, you didn't answer? Good. I think you can turn the video and we can keep talking.